Hi everyone, this is Tanya from You and Your Witchy Stuff. Thank you for tuning in. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Tanya. And also, if you're returning subscriber or viewer, thank you for returning and watching my rambles. So this morning I decided to do real quick down here, no makeup. Not that I usually wear dark makeup anymore anyways, but what you see is my dark circles and my imperfections, and yeah. That's Tanya, unfiltered, just as my videos. So I wanted to get together this morning on this beautiful sunny day here in central New York. A bit windy and cool, but again, hence you see I'm outside without a coat. And so I'm enjoying and taking advantage of the coming spring here in my beautiful backyard, or on my patio, should I say, with the beautiful trees behind me, which ties into what I'm doing today, which is a oracle and deck review. Again, just making sure I'm filming. I have a bad habit of that and such. Watching my previous rambles, you'd see that. So, with that being said, now, as you can see, I'm enjoying in my cauldron here, my lovely Killstar one that I got from my kick-ass husband and partner in crime that he got me, Matt from You and Your Horror Movies. Check out his channel if you are a horror fan or collector. You won't be disappointed. It is amazing and everything if you are a horror fan, collector, especially of B-rated movies like him and me. So with that being said, today I am doing an oracle review. In the past couple weeks I did one of my favorite tarot decks, which it was the Sabbath Tarot by Alan Spears. So this one is also of a darker nature or aesthetic. So if that is not your cup of tea or your forte, then I'm warning you now to turn back on this path in the woods, so to say, my own personal woods or forest. Now this deck, why this ties in with the weather, like I'm saying, and you see my black lace here, my witchy aesthetic, which I'm always a witch, and I always love black. 8 out of 10 times you'll see me in black. Just my forte. So this deck is an oracle deck. It is amazing quality. I don't use her all the time. I got it last year, and if you look back far in the last year in my clumsy videos, but you'll see that I did a first impressions of this deck, and then this is my follow-up as I've been using her different varying times throughout the year. I'll go sometimes and use it for days at a time, potentially for weeks, or maybe a random 1 or 2 card pull 3 or 4 times a month, and then I'll use it for things like the Pride Challenge. And then it went away for a little bit. Well, not Pride Challenge. The Witch's Black Lent, that was by Jasmine Ambrosia and Trish from Beanbag Hagwag, that I did along those lines, but I'm also still enacting and working through on 2024, because Pride is the gateway to all healing and all sins when embodied correctly, as I said in my own previous videos. So this is, like I said, this is like a journey. Come with me and journey. Get a cup of tea, wine, brew, or whatever you find delicious as you take a walk into the woods. This is like a journey back into the past. It's kind of what you would find in Salem, Massachusetts. If you've been there, you know by the feeling and the aesthetic, or the evocative of the ocean, the nature, the old brick, the old planks and boards, and the beautiful colors and the colonialism that still stands, especially in the historic part of Salem, married with, of course, modern times, very close together. Overall, there's so much magic in that town, whether it is by the food, the witchcraft, the ocean, and history herself, but also the taboo of, that's why I'm going to say turn this back now, of the witch trials, which was, of course, a dark time in American history, but all of Europe has even darker in some respects, not to compare one to another. Again, I find any of that stuff equally tragic and very ignorant, but we're not going to get into my point of view with that as much as this deck. So this deck aided me very greatly, and I'll bring up with the Pride workings, and still is, because it is very dark. It can be very mean girl type of aesthetic. The guidebook is written well. It can be kind of disturbing. It will tell you what, she will whisper and tell you, like in the dark woods, in the dark forest, what you don't want to hear, or by the spirits or the devils or your guides, what you don't want to hear, or maybe what you do want to hear, or what needs to be healed, what needs to let go, what needs to be embraced. Or of course, if you are a practitioner, a witch like myself, which many I'm sure are, or at least are into that stuff, or watch those kind of movies or read that kind of literature, because of course if you watch my weekly readings or you're visiting us, you have some type of interest or stake in all that. Stake, yeah, not being literal. So this deck is called Purgatorium Heks. This is by Mr. Friborg. It is from Mr. Friborg Arcantum. It is an indie deck. It wasn't expensive. I paid $60 about a year ago, give or take, 11 to 12 months ago, for this deck. Now, this box is amazing. It is a top box, and it has beautiful flames in it. And as you can see here, I love this. Even the pious shall burn. So yes, so hence that. I fell in love with this deck, but as I use it more and more, and her purposes serve me and my practice as a tool, as the majority of my decks, other than some novelty decks and such, I just haven't worked with or called to me, serve various purposes at different times, or alchemize and work with other decks. I do tend to love the darker aesthetic, hence horror movies and slashers and dark literature and black and Type O Negative and 9 Inch Nails, Tori Amos, The Cure, yeah. And of course, some dark metal, some black metal, and death metal, amongst other things, and of course, New Age. As my husband laughs at me, I love one end of Hello Kitty and things like I came across with my childhood aesthetic of strawberry shortcake. So that's enough about me. But then of course I like demons and imps and witchcraft and slashers and laugh at them. So that's often how we are. The good, bad, and ugly. Or also what makes me fun. Okay, another up close of me. So yeah. So the deck here, I showed you the box. This deck, now out of the ones that I've gotten, I have no regrets for this. I would definitely rebuy this deck again. Again, took a little time to get to me, a couple weeks, but was a little impatient. Well, sometimes I'm often very impatient. But, so yes. So this, but then I also laugh at myself, and I hope you can get a good laugh at me too. A lot of people say they find me amusing. I find my own self amusing. Why can you not laugh at yourself and at your quirks and what makes you great and what makes you silly and fun? So the backs of these decks, just like the box you can see here, cardstock is very nice. Again, worth the investment. Guidebook here is very nice. As you can see here, the only complaint I have is the guidebook. You got to go, it's not in alphabetical order, and you got to search in the back of the index to find the actual card, and then go back to the guidebook. Takes some work, but this is one I definitely recommend the guidebook for. Yes, I do use it intuitively, depending on what decks and purposes I do use it for, but again, it definitely recommend, as it has that. It has an amazing quote on most of them. Is an advisory, and it gives a little description of the deck or deck card and of course a high polarity and a low polarity, meaning I just opened up to that. So this, out of my decks and tools I actually work with, I honestly would give it a 9 out of 10, or give it 10 out of 10 if I used it more often or used it for clients. Give it a 9 out of 10 because of the quality and the uniqueness and individuality of it, and authenticity, which I am big on, and bigger in working on, as I said, with the Pride Challenge. It's an ever-growing thing to accept mine and bring mine into this world, and what I've repressed back into effect. So with this being said, I'm not going to go through all the cards. I'm just going to do show some. And also I recommend while I'm getting these together is to check out Mr. Friborg, a Cantum's Instagram. It is a amazing, funny, he's got such a big personality, just like his deck. He did the Cherokee, which is in his own interpretation and coloring a beautiful rendition of a Marseille deck. I was not big into Marseille. I have 3, I think now, which includes his. His was a second. The first one I have is one from like 1970. I do not use it and connect to it. I did get the Jean Dadal a few months ago at an antique store where a lot of my decks come from, like my first edition Indie of Dark Goddess Tarot I work with in my past working. Doesn't have the mass market, the big guidebook, but I like it because it's more of a guide versus having the whole guidebook. If I want to do the research, I'll take the time. Or often they present themselves in certain qualities. Okay, so here's some of the cards. Again, you still have a chance to turn back now, or follow me if you dare. So there is only one keyword on each card. They are all black and white. Well, there's just one keyword, but or phrase type of thing. And it has the planetary association, as you can see on here, has the planetary association, and it has a number, because in this guidebook here, and there is other videos of this, has a breakdown is similar to the Mantanga system. If I'm saying that wrong, shoot me. No, not really, but yeah, don't hold me in defense. I often do say things wrong. So, as you can see, loss of innocence. I got this one yesterday. I've been called to start pulling this on my daily draws. So this one is oppression. Yeah. Well, if you watch any of my previous videos for quite a while now, you'll know that I feel like I'm under that oppression finger with not getting a job and putting myself forth to the best of my ability, and then, yeah, being looked over. But this is not a video or rant on that so much. But yeah, I feel that. I got that card and I feel it. I love this one. Fall. There is a lot of imps, devils, witches in this deck. Religious references against organized religion, hence Purgatorium Heks, and even the pious shall burn. She has a great sense of humor, also. And as I said, a great thing of telling you what you don't want to hear, what you need to hear, or even about a situation. So again, I marry it intuitively depending on the decks I work with, or separately in my practice by itself. I've been using this in the Pride Challenge. I was using challenge, but in the Witch's Black Blunt, working with Pride and that 7 deadly sin in subversion, not aversion. Yeah. Subversion, that I was using this with the Dante's Infernal Oracle, and I was using this also with the Soul Mirror Oracle. I was doing the 3 together every day or every couple days as I was guided to by my guides and spirits and deities I work with in my practice, to reflect on, journal on what needs to be healed, what lies beneath at that time, what am I feeling, needs clarification when it comes to my healing, my practice, my shadow work. It's a great shadow work deck. That's what this is actually created for, is shadow work or grief work. Or if you're a witch like me, I mean, look at that. And if you are into the left-hand path and you like things with a bit of quirk and eccentricness, this will be for you. If not, well, this is definitely not for you, and I forewarned you. But as I always say, to each their own. My tastes change or evolve all the time. I'm sure each of ours do. I like to also have decks or show decks that are not as commonplace as others. I do have many commonplace and mass market decks, as you've seen if you watch any of my videos. But I do like things like this that don't get as much love or as attention or respect or reverence as they should. I love this one. There's even fallen angels in this and such. So this deck, again, I give 9 out of 10. The only thing what I would, as I said, not a 10 out of 10, is because out of the regular use, not really reading for clients on this, is many people are not as receptive or open-minded about this type of thing, or it does have a very confronting type of feel to it, but that's its purpose. And that is actually one of my top favorite cards of the deck. Look at the witch like that, and the forest is like behind me. And this does have, I believe, between 70 to 74 cards in it, so you're getting your money's worth in your investment. Just like I said about the Sabbath Tarot. She does pair nicely with that. I haven't used it very often in effect to that, but it does pair nicely with the Sabbath Tarot. I've not used it with the Witch's Tarot as much. I have been using it lately with the Murder of Crows this month in April, and the Dark Angel Tarot, and even Earth and Bone I've been using it with, like I did this morning and yesterday, for example. That is what I'm using in April practice, sort of a theme of doing with crows, like the Crow movie, and crows, like the Murder Crows deck, and the 90s feel of that deck's and aesthetic. But I alternate because I'm going by feeling, especially since I have time to go by my feelings. I'm going through a lot of healing, learning, knowledge, lessons. Yeah. And so with that being said, I'll show a couple more real quick here in the woodsy environment. I'm hoping you're enjoying that. And never mind the barking dogs that have happened throughout this video or time, but enjoy maybe some of the wind chimes, the birds, the breeze, the wind, the incense, like I am. Some amazing crows back there, Shetty crows. Saw a cardinal this morning. Beautiful, beautiful cardinal. And my husband's seen a blue jay a couple of times. I haven't, but he's seen it 3 or 4 times this week. And before that, he's seen a rabbit. My husband is not a practitioner. He is obviously open-minded. You have to be open-minded to live with someone like me that is so much out and open and so much embraces the craft and the occult. But you see what I was getting at about the aesthetic and the feeling on this, and how it kind of gives you a travel back in time type of thing. And that which lies beneath, or that which is lurking. That's why it's great for shadow work and great for confronting. Not that you have to use that for the purpose. Be used multifaceted, as I said. With that being said, I showed you quite a few, as you get the idea and the feeling of this deck and the recommendation. So again, check this out. In my opinion, this is a work of art. I believe he's also working on a mermaid tarot, Mr. Friborg is. I hope so, because I definitely would back that, as having these 2 decks of his, and 3rd deck would adding greatly to my collection. And would be, I don't have a mermaid deck. I haven't found any I wanted to. His, from what I'm seeing on his Instagram, are much more like science. So, I hope this video all finds you well. Again, thank you for watching through this video. And I do hope that you're all enjoying the weather as it improves, if you're in the northern hemisphere like myself, or as I am said, I'm in central New York State. I hope it finds you happy, healthy, and in abundance. And I hope it things, if you are in stages of growth like I am and uncertainty, I hope you find certainty and truth and abundance like I'm working on. And please, if you found any of this interesting or you have any questions, please comment below. Also, please like and subscribe to my channel as it helps it grow, and I would certainly appreciate it. And as I get many different things, I'll learn and appreciate the content of others. If you appreciate mine or want to help my channel grow, please do that. It's simple enough for all of us. Plus, then it'll help me, encourage me to keep putting content out as my working on Pride. And my Instagram is Little Miss Girl 79. My Facebook is under a Dark Moon Tarot readings. Not much on there, but the weekly readings, as does the community tab under the YouTube on there. I will be starting an Etsy on that for readings too, as most of mine have been word for mouth, and I need to get my ass out there and into gear. So I hope this all finds you well, and blessed be.